Hi, high school clarinets. I hope you guys are doing well. It's nice to connect with you, at least in the virtual world, and maybe sometime we'll actually get a chance to do a video conference together. We'll see how it goes. But at the moment, I thought I would start with we can take a quick look at the Prince medley. I'm going to go through looking at the clarinet one part first, but as you well know, a lot of the riffs are exactly the same rhythm in each of the parts, just different notes. Um, and to remind yourself of the feel of the piece, it's a good idea to go back and listen to the Prince original, to the recordings, which are obviously easy to get on YouTube. Um, and that's really helpful to kind of get the feel. So for the almost first page of the piece, what the first clarinet has going on, starting one beat after A, is just going to be this riff kind of repeated. And over and over and over and over. So then when we get down to D, I think that this is written into the first clarinet part because the second clarinet part at least has higher notes here than the first. But the first is doing a little bit harder riff because it's going over the break. So you're going C, D, B natural, G. And it's on one slur. And the last of the 16th notes is staccato. And part of the reason for that is to get out of the way of the next beat. So all four of those notes should be fitting on beat 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Or I'll just do that again and try to do it even a little better. Right? So that's worth practicing just to get all those notes to speak and make sure you're staccato on the G at the end. Measure 51 kind of has a double whole note lead into the riff from before. Etc., etc. So that's pretty much it. We have a little bit of something else going on at measure 79. So I'll start right from there, and obviously big crescendo and decrescendo. Right into that little 16th note run. And then it's pretty much the same all the way through H, which is going to repeat again. So when we look at I, the tricky thing about reading I, it sounds easier than it looks, actually, is mostly the tendency is to think that those quarter rests in between notes actually are longer than they are. But because of coming right off the 16th note, third note in the first measure of I, it's easy to feel like you have to wait longer for that rest, even though it starts like absolutely immediately. So what I see is the G in the first part at measure 107 is on beat 2. The high C is on beat 3. And if you think of the second high C is actually the fourth 16th note of the beat. So that's also, if you think of 1E and a 2E and a 3E and it's going to come in on the of 3, and then the fourth beat is a rest. So that rest comes really quickly, and then the rest at the beginning of the second measure of I is pretty much the one. By the time you're counting, you're going to feel that one is the rest. So let's try it again. I'm going to start right from I, and I'll count in before 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So the rest, like I say, they go by pretty quickly. So that's the end of 1999 in the first clarinet part. I'd like to move straight on in first clarinet, Go Through Purple Rain. And so really we've just got the bottom half pretty much of page 3, right? So we've got, looks like verse 1, chorus, verse, so there's going to be some vocals, chorus, verse 3, chorus, sax solo at Q. So we've got just under 16 measures, right? That we're, so an 8 measure section and then a 7 measure plus 1, 2, 3, 4, ba da 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 da, right? So let's just start. I'm going to start playing in the measure where you come in, but I'm going to start counting the rests right before you come in on the A. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. The staccatos, I'm not sure I did them perfectly, but there are on the B's in those little slurred notes, those B's should really be staccato. So in the second ending of R, I'm looking at. So this is one of those really great kind of rhythms where you've got, it doesn't look like they're all the same, but they are all the same. You've got a dotted 8th note, followed by an 8th tied to a 16th, which is the same as a dotted 8th note, followed by an 8th note tied to a 16th, which is another dotted 8th, and then followed by a dotted 8th note. So those 4 notes, even though they don't look identical, are all identical rhythm. So if we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, bum 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 ba da dum bum 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 ba da dum. So the last 2 16ths and 8th come right on beat 4. So if I were going to play that, and hopefully I'll play it right, right? And then it's going to go back to very similar to what it was after Q. So I'm going to play the second ending again and then keep going to the bottom of the page. Etc., etc., etc. And then the second ending is the same as the second ending up above. 3, 4.